Alright, so I got this 10-inch American Eagle Khukuri from nepalkukurihouse.com. I might talk a little bit about the website in the video description, but now I want to focus on the knife itself. So I'm going to preface this by saying this blade is excellent. I haven't had any problems with this. I've got nothing to complain about it. And I was a little worried at first about it rusting, but I put this this patina on it, and it's actually wearing in, really nicely. And I've put this blade through hell, and does pretty much anything I want it to really well. I think it works, splitting, batoning. I'd rather use this than a hatchet, actually. So this blade's probably the best blade I own. So I really like that, but what pisses me off is they took this excellent blade and attached it to a really poorly made handle. And I'm gonna start with where I had problems with the handle. Started with the pommel. And a lot of people think the pommel is solidly attached to the handle, or that it's all one piece, and actually it's not. The pommel's made out of this thin sheet metal and goes onto the handle here, and this end is kind of peened into it, I guess, but mainly what's holding it on is this little piece of rolled up brass that they put in the lanyard hole. And one day, actually the first day I had this, that little piece of brass fell out. And then shortly after, the pommel started to wiggle itself loose, and eventually it fell off. I figured, okay, that kind of sucks, but a little epoxy ought to fix it. So I epoxied the pommel back on, and after I did that, the glue holding the handle scales on started to crack. And then, after a while of that, the handle scales started wobbling around, and every time I would flick my wrist, it got this this clank to it. And it sounded really cheap, and the fat of my hand was getting caught between the handle scales and the handles, and that felt really cheap. So didn't like that. So eventually I got pissed off and figured I'd take the whole thing apart and just fix it myself. But I figured while this is apart, take a look at how this is constructed. For one thing, the rivets they use to attach the handle scales aren't really rivets. It looks like they use the same kind of rolled up brass thing that they used for the lanyard hole that I had problems with, and they kind of put that in there and smelt some soft metal into it, which you might figure would give it a perfect fit, but because there's this brass in there, that holds it in place, and so that didn't hold very well at all. And then another problem is the rivets aren't actually fitted well to these holes. They can go all over the place in there. So basically all that's really holding the handle in place, or really solidly at least, is the glue that they use on there, and that cracked. So that just pisses me off that they would take this amazing blade and put this cheap handle on it. So I'm going to try and fix that up myself, see if I can get it any more solid. And I think that's about all I got to say right now.